welcome back everyone to Project Jobless. I'm Samantha, Principal Trainer, and for today's session, I have the honor to invite one of the few early advocates that I know who chat into this arena in Singapore. So today we are going to dive deep into data protection scene. So, just give us some context to all of you that PDPA law, which stands for Personal Data Protection Act, was established in 2012, followed by the establishment of PDPC, which stands for Personal Data Protection Commission in 2013, and DNC, which stands for Do Not Call provision, came into force in 2014. So the speaker that I invited today is Qian Li, who has ventured into this scene since 2015. Now, a little bit background about him is he's the referee for and also a recognized International Fellow of Information Privacy, FIP, with IAPP, International Association of Privacy Professionals in Singapore. So there's a few jargons going on around here, some acronyms, so don't worry, we'll put it in our subtitles. Now, Qian Li is also a course developer, a lecturer, a consultant at Straits Interactive, a leading data protection firm in Asia that enables companies to achieve operational privacy compliance with a business edge. Now, he writes internationally on privacy for the Data Protection Excellence Network. In short, it's called DPEX, and IAPP and Bloomberg Law, and he also served as a speaker at IAPP events. Now, since 2019, Qian Li is also appointed speaker by the PDPC on selected topics. So without further ado, let me bring on stage Qian Li. Hi Qian Li, thank you for taking the time to agree with me to do this video.
Hi Sam, nice to meet you, nice to meet everyone. I'm Qian Li, and today I'm representing the Data Protection Excellence Network, or the DPEX network. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yes, it's an honor to be here. Now, the reason why I wanted to invite you is because there are a lot of clients that I serve, and they have always been thinking about this arena, you see, and I would say that this arena is pretty new, and to have you to share with us a little bit more in depth will actually serve a lot of benefits to all of us here. So maybe I just like to kickstart the session by asking you, the first question is, maybe you can share with us what is the difference between data privacy and security, because it seems like it's the same, but it feels also not the same. Maybe you can give us an explanation on that.
Right. Sam, when I first entered the industry, I had the same question, because whenever I looked at the news, it was all about a data breach, about cybersecurity, and I thought that everything about data protection has to do with security. No, that was what I thought.
Yes.
Then I came to appreciate that they are like cousins. So they are similar, they are related, but they do not replace each other. Now, what do I mean by that? So in security, we typically look at three factors: your confidentiality, your integrity, as well as the availability of the data. Whereas in data protection, in data privacy, just call it data protection for convenience, we will look at some other principles like notice, like consent. And one big difference is when you look at Cambridge Analytica, remember the big Facebook case that happened? So if we look at it, there was no security breach, right? Because whoever was authorized to use the data had the authorization, they had the access. But what it actually was that it's a privacy breach, because they were not supposed to use it for another purpose. Now that is where privacy comes into play. I hope that's a very quick, just brief overview about how privacy and security can be different.
Okay, I think I roughly get it as well. So maybe I would like to also understand, like, why should individual or businesses even care? The reason why I ask is also because in terms of career-wise, I always tell my clients that we have to be able to, our skills and talent must meet the need of the world. So I also like to understand, individual needs to care. Why do businesses also need to care?
You are absolutely right, Sam. We always say that your value, right, is determined by how well you can contribute to a problem. And if it's contributing to a big problem, then I guess you're very valuable. Okay, now coming back to point. I think so too, right? All right, now coming back to point. Okay, so yes, you are right. This law, it has implications on both the company, the organization, as well as individuals. Now let me quickly go about that. Okay, firstly, under the PDPA, for example, okay, there is a penalty, a fine that companies may face. Currently, the maximum penalty under the PDPA is up to 1 million Singapore dollars, but this is not the end of the story, right? Because it is expected by next year. Okay, the earliest, probably I'm not too sure as well. We have to wait for the updates from the government. Okay, but at least from my own expectations, by next year, this amount could be increased to up to 10% of the annual turnover. Now, what this means is that if you are a big organization and you have a very large revenue, okay, a large turnover, then the maximum fine that you are facing can be a lot more than $1 million. So that is significant. Now, besides that, right, under the PDPA, so the PDPC, the commission that you rightly pointed out, it does have some powers, does enjoy some powers. For example, to issue directions, corrective directives, things like that. So just imagine, we all know, we all have the trust in our civil service and the government as well, that if something goes wrong, they will take the initiative. Okay, once it's reported to them, they will follow up. Okay, so they will go and conduct an investigation. And when things like that happen, when an investigation happens, this can stretch for up to 18 months. I hope it won't last longer than that. And during that period, your management may also be the ones who have to cooperate with the investigation. Okay, so just imagine this could also trigger down to you as an employee. Now, as a person, as a human, as an individual, you may be thinking, so this is all about the company. What about me? First, if you're an employee and your organization has all these good practices in place, but you did not obey them, then yes, you can also be liable under the PDPA. As an individual, of course, we want to know that our data is very important. Our friends' data is also very important, right? So is our family's data, so is our children's data, because data in the wrong hands could lead to very severe consequences. Okay, it could lead to scams. For example, someone could take your identity, they could steal your credit card details. That is one form, okay, one possible outcome. But just imagine, okay, what is really scary in my opinion is when someone pretends to be you, and when someone uses your family's data to harm your family. That is a much more personal, I'll say a personal consequence that I would not like to face. Yeah, similarly, if you look throughout the course of history, personal data has been abused during the world wars. It has been abused during the witch hunts. It has been abused during many of these, I'll say, historical events. And all of this will encroach, they will infringe upon human rights. So data protection is very closely tied to the rights of the individuals, and this is why you should care, even if this has nothing to do with your work.
Understand? Okay. Now I think with the boom in technology and our data our digital footprint is almost everywhere. I guess there is a lot of gap to be filled there. So I think in terms of career-wise, I'm very interested about that gap to be filled. And this is the reason why I think when I'm working with my clients, this is a space that some individuals are looking at. So I have two categories of individuals that I like to seek your advice is, number one, if let's say I'm a student and I'm keen to step into this space, is there anything that I can start with? What should I be studying? So this is category one. Category two is, if let's say I'm already working, I'm a professional, I've been working for like at least 10-15 years and I want to do a career switch, then what can I do? And what will your advice be?
Wow, okay, very good questions. See, you always get me thinking. So, okay, let's look at the first category, students. So the good news for students and professionals alike is that data protection currently does not have a prerequisite. So it doesn't mean that you must be from this discipline, but definitely there are certain types of knowledge and experiences that will help you as you want to craft a career in data protection. So for students, like you rightly pointed out, Sam, okay, with the rapid adoption and I would like to say digitalization of businesses, okay, so as we rely more on technology, so if you are familiar with technology, it's going to help. So I will be quite upfront here that if you have some background in IT, this could be complementary. But I have to stress again, it is not a prerequisite. Because if you think about it, we use personal data throughout the entire organization. If you're applying for a job, you have to send in your CV, your resume, and that contains a mountain load of data, personal data. Okay, so that has to be protected. Now you may be sending it via a portal, an online portal. You can send it via emails, you can send it via LinkedIn, you can send it, if you like to, print it out, send it to the company. there's an address there as well, a physical copy. So you see, we actually leave many copies of our personal data just around, and this is going to be handled by HR. All right, and when you become a confirmed hire, that's where other departments like finance, okay, of course other functions, other disciplines under HR like learning and development, so they will start using your data as well. So you see, personal data is really being used across the entire organization. So what I would instead encourage students to do is try to understand processes. They try to understand how you can improve upon these processes as well. And from my own experience, an internship really helped me with that. Okay, so it's more operational, it's less theoretical. And for working professionals, now it's very difficult to say this is the amount that of experience you need, or this is the experience you definitely need. But I can say that if you were from compliance, for example, let's say you were serving on the board, and all these years of experience, they become your wealth. They become part of your own treasure trove. So if you have some experience in this, in audit, that's going to help you. If you have experience in process improvement, Kaizen, that's also going to help you. Like even if you are from, let's say, sales and marketing, if you know your sales and marketing process, that's also going to help you. Okay, so data protection is really a nice, I personally, of course, I feel it's a booming industry, yeah, but I don't have the stats to show you right now. Okay, but at least what I can say is, if we consider from the big picture, we probably heard that data analytics is getting very exciting, it's getting heated up. Now think about it. Before you use the data, you must be sure that this data is safe to use. Just like food, we eat, we cook and all that. But before we even cook and eat the food, we make sure the food is safe to eat. So that's where I will encourage you, whoever is looking at this, your clients, your students, that consider what does data protection mean for you and what are you interested in, because that could also help you determine what would you like to study and still be relevant in terms of data protection.
Sounds wonderful.